we have been talking about perpendicular bisectors, and today it switches it up on us a little bit and talks about an angle bisector. So the same thing applies. Bisector means two equal pieces, and if it's an angle bisector, it means it's cutting the angle in half. So basically, this is your perpendicular bisector, right? Because it comes here at this 90-degree angle. So we're still looking at the same line, but now we're talking about the angle that it cuts in half. So really we're focusing up here at the angle more than the perpendicular sides, okay? So we're looking up here at the angle and we're going to label the information that it gives us. So it says EFH. So remember you trace it, EFH. So it's this piece in here is negative 19x plus 94. And yeah, the numbers are a little big, so have a calculator. Okay, so this one here. And then it tells us that EFG, so EFG, that means the entire angle, right? So EFG is negative 4x plus 86. Okay, so this inside piece is that, and then it equals this. So how are we going to be able to solve for m becomes the question. Well, I kind of feel like the easiest thing to do would be to recognize that if EFH is this measurement, right, this negative 19 plus 94, then that means that this side is also the exact same thing, right? So we're going to put the tick marks in here, because if it's an angle bisector, that means this whole big angle was cut directly in half, right? So there's a couple ways you could go about doing this. You could write it all out twice, which seems like a lot, or we could recognize, well, I have two of these, two of them that are the same measure. So that would be 2 of the negative 19x's plus 94, and write it as distributive property is going to equal the negative 4x plus 86. Okay, so you could have written this out twice and just added it, but I'm going to use distributive property just so we don't have to list it and it make it like go across the whole screen. So there's two of these that are equal sizes, so that's why we're putting them as two groups. Okay, then we're going to solve the equation. So always with this, don't call me after midnight. And we do have distributive property now, right? So I'm going to use my calculator because we don't want to make any mistakes, especially since we have that negative 19. Make sure you put negative 19 in there. So 2 times negative 19x is negative, or no, 2 times negative 19x. Negative makes it a positive. Why did my calculator leave it? Let's see. Negative 19 times 2. Oh, duh, because the 2 is not negative. Okay. Negative 38x. And then we're going to distribute here. 2 times 94 is 188. Okay, and remember to use the sign when you're looking at that 94. So it's 2 times positive 94. And then copy this down. Okay, then we're going to combine like terms. I can't combine anything on the left side. I can't combine anything on the right. Then we're going to move the smaller variable across the equal sign. So negative 38 is actually my smaller variable. So we're going to add 38 because it's further out in the negative. And again, just use your calculator. So I'm going to have negative 4 plus 38. That gets me 34x. And then we're going to get rid of the addition or subtraction by the variable. So we're going to subtract 86. Gets me 102. And then we're going to multiply or divide by the variable. So we're going to divide by 34. And if I did everything correctly, that's going to get me 3. So x equals 3. Okay. However, it didn't ask us to solve for x. It asks us to find the measure of EFG. So EFG is this one here. which is the whole entire angle. So we're going to substitute into that. So that's going to be -4 times 3 plus 86. Well, -4 times 3 is -12. And -12 plus 86 is 74. So the degree of this entire angle is going to be 74 degrees. Okay, so something a little bit new we hadn't seen before is this piece right here. Let me see if I can change colors. It's not letting me. Okay. Making sure that you recognize there's two of these. So since there's two of them, we just said, okay, we're going to distribute by 2. Okay. Let's see what else we have in this problems. Oh, of course. Here we go. Doesn't like it when I zoom in, evidently. Okay. This one here, it says, given that BD is an angle bisector, find the measure of BAD. All right, so let's see here. We have BD is the angle bisector, right? It's cutting this angle in half. So always identify the angle it's cutting. And then it says find BAD. BAD is going to be this angle over here. Okay. So if it's cut in half, then that stands to reason that these two should be equal, right? So let's just double check. Measure of angle BAD. BAD. So yeah, it wants this here, so it should be 63. 63. And there we go. Okay. So again, remember the bisector is cutting it in half, so it's equal on both sides. If it wanted to know what this side over here would have been, again, remember this and this are going to be equal as well. So that would have been 27. Or if it wanted the measure of angle ABC, remember it would have been B right here. That would have been 27 plus 27. Okay, so just be careful which way it's asking you to go about things. Let's see. It's probably going to make me oh, there we go. Ooh, that's a big, long, weird looking one. Okay. This one says given BD is the angle bisector. So again, this is my angle bisector. It's bisecting this angle right here. And ABC. So ABC. So it's this entire angle here is 140 degrees. Find the measure of ABD. ABD. So it's saying the entire angle is 140 degrees. It wants ABD, so it just wants half of it. So you're just going to take 140 and divide it in half because that's what a bisector does. 2 equal pieces. So that means that this side's going to be 70 and this side's going to be 70. So let me type that in. And there's our green. Okay. This one says, given that BD is the angle bisector. So again, this is my angle bisector. So this is the angle we're looking at. Find the measure of ABC. So ABC, it wants the entire angle. Well, this is 26. That means this is going to be 26. So 26 times 2 or 26 plus 26 gets me ABC, the entire angle, is going to be 52. So we're just adding the two halves to get the total length. And again, remember ABC, that's giving us the total piece there. Okay, let's do a couple more. These all look a little bit different. So given that BD is the angle bisector, find ABC. So ABC. ABC is the entire thing, right? ABC. So if this side's 62, that side's 62, which means we have to add them together or multiply by 2, which is 124. Okay, so just trace it, use the information as it's given. says FH is an angle bisector, and then EFH, so EFH, this piece here, is 4x plus 37. And EFG, the entire piece, so like we did in the first problem. And it wants you just to find x, right? So again, we know that half of it is 4x plus 37. That means we're going to have two of those. So I would do two groups of 4x plus 37 is going to equal the entire angle. Okay, and then don't call me after midnight. So you really have to pay attention to how it's asking you to do things. And then for here, we're just solving for x. Okay, so yes, we have distributive property this time. So 2 times 4x is 8x. And 2 times 37, I'm going to put that in my calculator, is 74. And then just copy this down. And then I cannot combine anything on the left or on the right. And then we're going to move the smaller variable. So my smaller variable, the furthest in the negative, is negative 16x. So we're going to add 16x. So 8 plus 16 is 24x. And then we're going to get rid of the addition or subtraction next to the variable. So right now there's a adding 74. We're going to subtract 74. So that's going to get us 24x equals 266 minus 74 is 192. And then we're going to multiply or divide. So we're going to divide by 24. And that gets me x equals 8. And all it wanted us to do was solve for x in this case. So x equals 8. Okay. So again, just really pay attention to what the questions are asking you on these kind of problems. And then use don't call me after midnight to get to the answers. Okay, this one here, given that BD is an angle bisector, find measure of ABC. So ABC is the entire thing. So it'd just be 64 times 2 is 128. Okay, so if you need more help, let's see. It looks like we can do math on this one. We'll do one more. And if you need more help, just schedule a time to get with me. So it says FH is the angle bisector. So we're looking at this angle here. And EFH is this half, is 16x plus 162. And then EFG is the entire piece, is negative 13x minus 36. Find the measure of EFG. EFG. So it wants us to find this measure. Okay, so again, we know that half of it is the 16x plus 62. So that means we're going to have two groups of that. So we're going to have two 16x plus 162. Two of those adds up to be the total of negative 13x minus 36. Okay, so just knowing that perpendicular bisector, that angle bisector gets us there. And then just solve. We're going to use distributive property. And again, that's 2 times 16 is 32x plus 162 times 2 is 324. And then we cannot combine these because this one has an x and this one doesn't. Same thing here. So then we are going to move the smaller variable. So our smaller variable is negative 13. We're going to add 13. So 32 and 13 gets me 45x. And then don't forget, I kept that negative, right? Don't lose your signs. All right, so then we have this, and now we have to get rid of the addition or subtraction next to the variable. So we're going to subtract 324. gets me 45x equals, and that's 36 negative, so negative 36 minus 324 is negative 360. And then we're going to multiply or divide, so we're going to divide by 45, which gets us negative 8. Now, this tells us that x equals negative 8, right? We have to use that to find the answer. It said find the measure of angle EFG. So EFG was this one here. So that we're going to take that negative 8 and substitute it in. So the measure of EFG is negative 13 times negative 8, which gets us a positive, right? And then minus 36. So negative 8 times negative 13 is 104. And then minus 36 is 68. So that's how we're going to end up with a positive measure in the degree. So the x can be negative, but your angle measures are always going to be positive because to get an angle, we have to have a distance, right? So if you need more help with that, let me know. We'll schedule a session. Other than that, 10 points, get more math.